Today is a typical Sunday. It's my day off from work, thank goodness. I don't have any homework or chores around the house to do, so I'm pretty bored. Nothing good's on TV. My friends are busy today. At this point, I'm just looking for something to do. One of the first things my eyes lay on in my room is my bright green Game Boy Color. I pick it up to see what game I left in it. Turning it over, I see it is my copy of Pokemon Blue version I've had for well over a decade. Both the cartridge and Game Boy have been used for so long that the game can't save data anymore, and the speakers of the Game Boy do not work well. With a heavy sigh, I consider playing it, but wonder what the point would be since none of my progress will be saved. For old time's sake, and the fact that I honestly don't have anything better to do, I reluctantly turn the game on and sit back in my easy chair, slowly preparing myself to be immersed into an exciting Pokemon adventure. I yawn a bit as the game boots up, feeling somewhat tired. I notice that the game starts without Professor Oak's introduction, which seems rather strange, but I figured the game cartridge is acting up more than I recall. As soon as the game starts, I hear the Pokemon Towers song begin to play instead of the usual Pallet Town song. This struck me as odd, and it came through quite clearly despite my Game Boy speaker being broken. I headed over to Oak's lab to pick my starter Pokemon. I notice there are no people in Pallet Town, which only adds to my assumption the game is glitching horribly. As I enter the lab, the place looks as though it has been ransacked, the floor a mess with books from the shelves. Professor Oak is the only one inside the lab. My memory of the game is a bit fuzzy, but I seem to recall a scientist or two being there as well. As I wonder where they had gone, I notice Professor Oak is closer to the desk of Pokeballs than usual. I thought he was always to the left of it, but he appeared to be slumped over the table this time. The Pokeballs were all gone. It looked as though Oak was taking a nap. There was a mess of dark pixels surrounding his body. I wasn't sure what they were at first, again assuming it was just another glitch, but it gradually occurred to me the pixels very much appeared to be blood. With the chill running down my spine, I walked up to his sprite and attempted to converse with him. A text box read the word, "We." I tried again, but it only repeated itself. I did not understand, but left and continued by going to Gary's house. His sister was there, but not at the table as I also recalled, if memory serves. She was in a corner, facing away. I approached her sprite, pressing A to talk to her. She said nothing, only a string of dots serving as her text. I left and began heading towards Viridian City, despite not having any Pokemon to defend myself with. I noticed the Pokemon Tower music did not change. Each time I encountered a wild Pokemon, such as a Pidgey, before I could react, a text box would say, "Pidgey ran away in fright." Halfway to Viridian City, I found a person lying face down in the path leading the way, the grass around his body darker than the rest, supposedly from blood again. I hurried up to the body curiously and pressed A. The text read, "Will." Again, I was confused and recognized the sprite as Gary, but continued to Viridian City after scaring away any other wild Pokemon I met. Again, the music did not change, and I visited the mart to buy some Pokeballs. The place was deserted aside from the cashier, who was inside one of the freezers in the back. There appeared to be a lock on the door, and the person's sprite was encased in a block of ice, a rather disturbing expression of horror plastered to their face. Feeling gradually more disturbed as I played the game, I headed over to the Pokemon Center to find only Nurse Joy there. Her body was lying against the counter she usually stood by. She too appeared to be dead, blood splattered against the Pokemon healing station. Expecting another mysterious message, I attempted to talk to her body, a text box reading, "Find." I exited the Pokemon Center and wandered up to the first house above it. It was empty aside from scratch marks all over the floor and a chalkboard with the words, "Run away," scrawled all over it in rushed handwriting. I quickly left and proceeded up to the next house to inspect it. Stepping inside, the word, "You," was carved into the carpet, right where I had been standing when I first set foot in the house. I immediately left and headed straight for the path to Viridian Forest. I felt the hair on the back of my neck raise as I realized the cluster of random words was actually a message. "We will find you." The path up ahead was blocked by a line of ghosts. The game began to glitch, making my character unable to move as random sprites cluttered parts of the screen. Now I knew my game really was messed up. As soon as I could move, I turned and retreated to find the path to Pallet Town also blocked by ghosts. Heading to the left, I saw my only other exit was blocked as well. A text box read, "Death finds us all eventually. Are you ready?" Suddenly, I felt a cold breath against the back of my neck and whirled around to find no one there. Turning back to the game, breathing hard, I saw that my sprite was surrounded by the swarm of ghosts. The screen began to cause a strobe effect, flickering extremely bright lights and images of my character being torn apart by the ghosts. A high-pitched whine burst from the Game Boy speakers, and an eerie voice that chanted, "We will find you." The strobe effect from the lights caused me to experience an intense seizure. I collapsed onto my side, dropping the console as my entire body twitched and jerked about wildly. The only thing I could hear now was the voices repeating over and over. It has been about a month since the incident. I have not played the game since, but the voices refuse to leave me alone. I constantly find myself looking over my shoulder, afraid to go outside, afraid of people in general. I don't know how much longer I can tolerate the voices that haunt me day and night. All I can do is wait until they find me, or cease to torture my mind.
We will find you. We will find you. Find you. We will find you. We will find you. We will find you. We will find you. Find you. We will find you. We will find you. Find you. We will find you. We will find you. We will find you. We will find you.